this morning to a fire at a mixed-use residential and commercial building on Freshwater Road at Dagenham. The whole of the building has been affected by fire, including scaffolding surrounding the property and the roof. The first London Fire Brigade crews arrived within 5 minutes and the second crew arrived within 6. An aerial appliance was also ordered and arrived within 6 minutes. In total, 40 fire engines and around 225 firefighters are at the scene. To allow us to focus on the incident, we have declared a major incident. The building has a number of fire safety issues known to the London Fire Brigade. A full simultaneous evacuation of the building was immediately carried out with a significant search and rescue operation which is still underway. At this stage, 2 people have been taken to hospital by the London Ambulance Service. The London Fire Brigade control officers have taken 16 calls to this fire, including successfully giving vital fire survival guidance to a number of people using our Fire Survival Guidance app, which allows information to be exchanged between our control and the Interground in a timely and accurate and consistent manner. We also are using new technology to support us at this fire, including our drones, our 64-metre, 32-metre turntable ladders. This provides our incident command team with a vantage point for the scene, and it also allows us high-reach firefighting using water towers. The brigade has stood up its full strategic response arrangements to deal with the incident, and a rest centre has been set up at Becontree Heath Leisure Centre. London Fire Brigade officers with our partners are stationed at the rest centre to support residents. The fire is producing heavy smoke. We're asking local residents to keep their windows and doors closed for the time being, and Freshwater Road is closed to traffic. So we're asking people to avoid the area where possible. The cause of the fire at present is unknown, but a full and thorough investigation into the incident and its cause will take place in due course. We will provide you with further updates as the incident progresses. Thank you.
still smoking. Pretty intense, isn't it?
You'll come back, yeah? Sorry.
So, I'm Andy Roe, London Fire Commissioner. I'd like to make a statement on the Dagenham fire, obviously the 27th of August 2024. Really, I'd like to start by offering our sincerest sympathies to all those affected by the fire here in Dagenham yesterday. Not only have they suffered the most traumatic experience, but so many have lost their homes and their property. It was very important for me to visit the scene today, not least to meet with our firefighters and other staff and residents, but also to thank the Deputy Prime Minister for taking the time to come to and listen to the stories of the firefighters who responded first on the night. I'm immensely grateful to our crews and officers who operated in the most dangerous conditions you can imagine to rescue people and to bring the incident under control, despite being faced, as you can see behind me, with a very significant building failure. A full simultaneous evacuation of the building was immediately carried out, and a significant search and rescue operation took place, again in very, very high-risk circumstances for firefighters. Despite that challenge, the personal risk to their own lives, they helped evacuate more than 80 people, and most importantly, carried out 20 rescues. This included using fire escape hoods, which obviously provide 15 minutes of clean air in smoke-filled environments, a very important change since the terrible fire at Grenfell Tower. The brigade's control officers are to be equally commended. They took 16 calls to the fire, including a number of really challenging fire survival guidance calls where they provided advice to those callers calmly and professionally using our fire survival guidance app, which allows information to be exchanged in real time between control and the incident ground. Again, I cannot thank them enough for their calmness, their compassion and their professionalism as this building began to fail. Obviously, in responding to the fire, and you have seen it here today, we used new equipment such as drones and our 64 and 32 metre turntable ladders to provide incident commanders with a vantage point for assessing the scene and to put water onto the top of this building. London Fire Brigade officers and members of our dedicated community support team stand with the community and have been stationed at the rest centre to support those residents alongside partners. We will be here for many days to ensure that this site is left as safe as it possibly can be. I have to once again take the opportunity to publicly thank our crews, our control officers, our fire safety officers and support staff who have worked so incredibly hard to resolve the incident and to ensure everyone was safe in the face of almost unbelievable challenge. We have, as you might expect, commenced a full and detailed investigation into the cause of this fire, and we are working closely with police colleagues in doing so. However, as you can see, due to the extensive damage to the building, with parts of it now being declared unsafe to access, it is difficult to make entry in there to do that investigation. That means it's likely to be protracted, and our fire investigation and fire safety officers, our specialists, are likely to be on scene for many days. We know there will undoubtedly be concerns around potential fire safety issues, and this investigation will be an absolute priority for our officers over the coming weeks. If I perhaps might end where I started by saying the residents, as well as the wider local community, are in our thoughts today in the face of what they've lost in this terrible incident, and you have my promise as London Fire Commissioner that we will continue to support them over the coming days, weeks and months ahead. Thank you very much for your time. I have time just for a couple of questions.
Commissioner Tom Parmenter from Sky News. You say that you support the residents and stand by them. What have you made of the accounts that they have given about not hearing firearms, about finding escape routes that were padlocked in this building?
So to be absolutely clear, I have 1,300 buildings in London that are, from my opinion, unremediated and must be as a priority. This is one of very many of them. It is the responsibility of building owners and managers to make sure the systems inside their buildings function properly. And actually, perhaps in that number, it gives you the idea of the challenge we face as a service to hold them to account.
Does more need to be done to hold them to account? Because the residents were terrified in here.
I can imagine, because I've been in charge of many incidents, including Grenfell, that the residents faced their absolute worst night. All I can tell you is that we are engaged fully with government to look again at the legislation, to bring forward the changes that must be made, and we stand with the community, and we will do that with an energy and a transparency.
Commissioner, you talk about fire safety concerns in this building. Can you expand on what they are or were?
I think it's far too early to say. All I can tell you is that we started enforcement action in 2023. You can see clearly the scaffolding is up and the cladding has started to come off. But we are aware there were known fire safety issues, and that will form a fundamental part of what I think will be a complex investigation taking some time, and all of that will be considered in the scope of it.
Can you expand on the enforcement orders?
I'm afraid I really can't. Thank you so much for your questions.
Just one more, sorry. What did the Deputy Prime Minister have to say, and what did you say to her about the need to pressurise building owners and construction companies to get this work done quicker? Because it's been 7 years since Grenfell.
I think to the credit of the Deputy Prime Minister, she's demonstrated absolute commitment today to that process, and I look forward to working with her and her office in how we might move this situation forward with both industry and all the other relevant stakeholders. But I think in the testimony she heard from firefighters powerfully about what they experienced on the night, she is very clear in her intent to try and improve this situation. Thank you so much for your time. Take care.
Thank you.
Here today are any of the firefighters. What are they describing from the scenes that happened on Monday?
I have spoken to the first crew who arrived, who I think first of all performed wonders in terms of responding to the fire. Interestingly, of the 3 fire engines at Dagenham, one of them wasn't available. That's a story all across the country. So they didn't turn up with as many firefighters as they would have expected. They turned to a fire which was far worse than anything they expected, with fire, bits of burning cladding falling from the building as they were trying to access it, large numbers of residents trying to escape. I think they've done an amazing job, and it's only thanks to the professionalism, determination and bravery of those firefighters that lives were lost. So I think the whole community and I'm sure the whole country would thank them for the work that they do.
You say that the fire was worse than was expected. How does that happen? What changed over the course of those minutes?
Well, what's changed here? Changed before any fire call was made. If you look at the building, firefighters would expect that a building like that, a normal block of flats, that the building will be designed so that the fire should be contained in one flat. So you might see damage around one window or 2 windows. What shouldn't be happening is the fire spreading across the entire building, as it has done clearly here. And that's because for whatever reason we have allowed, or authorities have allowed, people to wrap buildings in flammable material. You ask any member of the public whether that makes sense, and I think everyone will say it's a stupid, ludicrous, frankly criminal idea. and yet that has what's lies behind much of this. But we also find that there are thousands of other buildings with other major fire safety failings, so cladding, fire doors that don't work, fire lifts that don't work, windows that aren't appropriate, a whole raft of things in thousands of buildings across the country, millions of people affected by it. It's a national scandal and it needs addressing.
So the firefighters, when they responded, the ones that you were spoken to, seeing flames coming outside of the building, is that, as you understand it, how it was spread?
I've seen images of the whole side of the building on fire and burning material falling from the building.
You also mentioned that there was a shortage of fire trucks.
Well, the fire trucks met the standard of the London Fire Brigade and making the point that the first station, which was Dagenham, where the first call went to, that one of their fire engines was off the run, i.e. unavailable. And if you go to fire services around the country, that is a common story all across the country, largely because of staff shortages.
These previously known safety issues, do you know anything about that? What they were that have been flagged by residents and were known to them?
Look, there needs to be a full investigation of this particular incident. I understand there are issues around fire alarms, around fire doors, but I can't really comment more than that until we hear the full facts.
Are you often, people who are part of the union, often attending scenes that have been exacerbated potentially by previously known fire safety issues?
We tried to get to major incidents, obviously not to the fire scene. London Fire Brigade is attending high-rise fires every single day of the week, so we don't attend all of them. This obviously is a particular note. One, because next week is the publication of the Dagenham Tower report, and two, because of the scale of this and the fact that cladding appears to be involved in it.
Thank you. Is there any other response from
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks very much.